news, MS Now with exclusive reporting that a federal grand jury in Maryland is now investigating two Trump administration officials, Federal Housing Finance Agency Director Bill Pulte and DOJ pardon attorney Ed Martin. Now, the investigation centers on whether they appointed unauthorized people to help with mortgage fraud investigations of California Democratic Senator Adam Schiff and New York Attorney General Letitia James.
FBI agents have begun interviewing individuals about the way in which Bill Pulte, the Federal Housing Finance Chair, and Ed Martin, a DOJ official who used to be the U.S. Attorney in Maryland before he was removed from that office, whether they have improperly designated or deputized individuals to participate in investigating alleged mortgage fraud. Now, Chris, you know that these mortgage fraud claims have been seriously criticized and questioned by career prosecutors who do not find that the evidence of mortgage fraud by either Letitia James or Adam Schiff, Senator Adam Schiff, have any real factual sufficiency to bring charges. Nevertheless, Bill Pulte has made these referrals, and both Mr. Pulte and Mr. Martin have been pressuring prosecutors' offices to bring these cases. Now, the shoe is on the other foot, according to our sources and documents that we have reviewed at MS Now just this morning that indicate this has turned around in a way that the Department of Justice is investigating the methods used by these two top Trump allies.
They not taking running the country serious. That's what I don't like.
I disapprove because we're inflation. Groceries are higher than before. Disapprove of how he put ICE in the cities and they're all masked up. No one knows who they are. They're snatching people off the streets. Don't like that he's sending in the National Guards to these cities on the streets of the American people.
Prices of groceries, those are the things that immediately impact me. Immigration, as much as, I care about it, it doesn't. I have stocks. Thankfully, a lot of them, but it doesn't impact my day-to-day life. So that's why I'm strongly disapproving with regards to what he promised. On day one, he promised to lower our groceries. Where are they now?
Because of job market is really bad and housing prices and just inflation in general.
Here's what it says about Mark and his law firm and George Soros. The Elias Law Group draws from the George Soros coffers. Counsel for the Instant Gonzalez plaintiffs, David Fox, is a partner at Elias, which has collected more than $104 million from Democrat Party committees and donors, including Mr. Soros. Firm chair Mark Elias formed entities tucked inside large existing nonprofits that raised tens of millions of dollars from some of the richest donors on the left, including from foundations funded by Mr. Soros. Okay, so that's three, just in that paragraph there. Your response, Mark.
Right. So, let's just start with the fact that in this case, as a law firm and as lawyers, we represented 13 individuals who are black and Hispanic voters who suffered constitutional harm at the hands of the Republican legislature of Texas. And so we were vindicating their civil rights, their constitutional rights, and I am proud that the work that my law firm did to do that. I literally have no idea why I would be singled out by name, one of my partners would be singled out by name, and our connection to the Democratic Party, which, by the way, there are lots of sources you could use to say we're connected with the Democratic Party. I proudly represent the Democratic Party, although not in this case. In this case, we represented these 13 voters. And then George Soros, who, as far as I know, he doesn't vote in Texas. I'm unaware of any relationship he has to this case. And it just is highly, highly inappropriate, to say the least. It is wildly unusual.
This is the primal scream of a dying regime. Pray for our enemies, because we're going medieval on these people. You're just not got a free shot on all these networks lying about the people. The people have had a belly full of it. I know you don't like hearing that. I know you try to do everything in the world to stop that, but you're not going to stop it. It's going to happen.
And where do people like that go to share the big lie? MAGA media. I wish in my soul, I wish that any of these people had a conscience.
Ask yourself, what is my task and what is my purpose? If that answer is to save my country, this country will be saved.
War Room. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
It's Thursday, 20 November, year of our Lord 2025. We've got a lot to go through, and we're going to get through it all today. It's going to be a packed 5 o'clock hour and 6 o'clock hour. But I've asked Dr. Peter Navarro to come over from the White House because I want to talk economics. We had, they've had a bunch of these focus groups up from average Americans, a lot of people, independents who voted for President Trump, some who didn't, but a lot of people that voted for President Trump. And so I want to go through because, and I don't know what the reason is. The second Trump term has a very distinct view of the world. And that is that we're going to reverse what's happened in this country, the globalization, over the last 50 or 60 years. And the way we're going to do that through tax policy, industrial policy, and trade policy, that we are going to return America to be a manufacturing superpower, okay? So we have on one hand the big beautiful bill, which is a massive supply side tax cut that focuses on capital. And in your department, you've been the president's essential trade czar now for, 12 years, 10 years since you met President Trump in 2015, early 2016. So going on 10 years. And now that case is before the Supreme Court about the total reorganization of this. Just walk through what your guys' strategy is and what we're doing to execute on that strategy, because now the economic part of it is clearly going to become a political issue, because this, with all the noise and people running around and talking and every, MAGA, this is going to come down to the economics of the country and where the country is economically starting in the spring, summer, and fall of next year. The floor is yours, sir.
Good to be with you, Steve, and
the
great. War Room. The challenge we face politically is that what we've put in motion is going to take time, and in the meantime, people are still feeling significant pain in the inflation area. And the last thing we want to be doing is to tell people things are getting better when they're feeling pain.
Did the White House and people sell the golden age too early? That the golden age is coming, but there's a lot of chopping.
We have gotten the memo, and what our challenge now, I think, because the American people are reasonable and this audience is as smart as a whip, is we have to explain exactly what the inflation chessboard looks right now. So let me take a crack at that. Okay. And go across the various areas. The first thing to state is that everything the Democrats do when they become attractive in anybody's mind, you have to understand this, everything they do is inflationary. And whether it's the fiscal...
spending money, printing money.
Fiscal irresponsibility, certainly at the top of the list. But as I'm about to show you, the illegal aliens drive up rents. When you have over-regulation, that drives up costs. When you do a Green New Deal, that drives up not just energy costs, but fertilizer costs. Literally everything they do, Steve, is inflationary. So when they're hammering us and blaming us for not getting inflation down fast enough, people always have to remember where it came from. Now, let me give you a couple of examples of the problem of lags. It's a problem of lags. So if you look at the rent issue, housing, it's 40% of the inflation, Steve, and it hits our people really, really hard. We have to be honest about that. Here's a stat for you. For every 1 million illegal aliens that came into this country during the Biden regime, and there were about 20 million overall, that raises rents nationally by 1% per 1 million people. Okay.
So you're saying 20% increase in rents?
Just because of the open border, Steve. Okay. Now, it's worse than that. And if you want to explain the emergence of Mamdani and these communist mayors in blue major cities.
That would be the communist mayor that's with the president tomorrow? That communist mayor?
That would be the same communist mayor.
Is this a factoid that you're going to slip the president before his meeting?
This is a fact that is on the table here. Point is, if it's a 20% national average, it's really distributed more among the blue cities. So if rents are 30 to 35% higher in New York City, and Mamdani's talking about rent control, and people are understanding it, the whole friggin' thing came because of Joe Biden's open border policy, okay? And it takes, in terms of lags, it takes a year and a half or two to wring that out of both the inflation and the inflation statistics. Now, number two, I love this example, Steve. We inherited a food price crisis. Mm-hmm. And I heard somebody in the cold open say we haven't done anything. Well, let's look at chickens versus cattle. I love this example. Chickens, we come in, and again, what Biden did was kill over 100 million chickens, okay? Call it the great chicken slaughter because of a massive overreaction to avian flu,
the
right?
bird flu, yep.
And egg prices and chicken prices went off the charts.
Yep.
Now, here's the good news. It's 45 days, Steve, from egg to broiler in the supermarket. 45 days. And we went at that. Brooke Rollins and the boss, President Trump, went at that just right on it, and we solved that crisis. And that both chicken and egg prices are down dramatically. But contrast that now with cattle, okay? Calf to your hamburger in the meat aisle, it's a year and a half, okay? We've been here 10 months. So this one's taken time. And we are on that one coming at it from 16 different angles because you have to. One of the big problems, Steve, is that the middlemen, right, the beef processors, you know what the C4, firm concentration ratio is in that, Steve? Do you know this? 85%. So you've got an oligopoly acting like a monopoly, sending stuff upstream to the supermarkets, and you got an oligopsony screwing the ranchers down below, and it gets worse. Of the four, two of them are Brazilian. And it's not just that it's foreign ownership, it's that the Brazilians are in bed with the Chinese, and there's decisions that get made.
Between Lula and the CCP?
China buys something like half of the exports of Brazil in beef, and a third or half of their soybeans. So when stuff starts to happen, these Brazilian middlemen here in the U.S. have choices about to make who gets the cattle, right? So that can influence price. So we're having to deal with all of that, and on top of that, drought. So those are really good examples. Now, energy. If you look at energy, we're killing on energy.
Yep.
Okay, gas prices are way down. Price of oil's down to 60%. That's going to bring down fertilizer prices. So we have to do a good job of explaining to the American people what we're doing and why it's taking so long.
Well, I think you're winning in some of that. And also, while you have these massive deficits, inflation is only going to come down so much. I just think you're great when you're putting something out in the FT, the Journal, the Washington Times. Are you going to lay this out for people at some time?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going out on TV and stuff, writing the op-eds. The other
folks on inflation.
Yeah. It's kind of job one right now. Okay, it's
to explain to people.
Really, I mean, but I've said this, and you can get cold opens going on Maria and stuff like that. It's like right up until the election. Because, Steve, if we lose that election, if we lose the House, we're all going to jail, number one, and the country's going down the toilet, number two. And I think that would be number one, and us going to jail is probably number two.
The vice president said that today, reiterated what I said, that just doing your work for President Trump, they're coming after you. See about this grand jury in Maryland. We're going to take a commercial break. I do want to get to, you've done affordability. But as I said in Axios today, because they had this article, The Big Red Alert, I said, hey, we've made the bet. We've got structurally what we're doing. It's just it's just execute on returning manufacturing jobs.
And that brings us to the other side of the equation, which is rising real wages.
Short break. I said growth, jobs, and higher wages. So I've teed you up.
Yes, sir.
For after the break.
All right.
You're a little rusty on being a host, but we'll get you.
Hey, I didn't grab the mic today.
Sure.